Shalom, this is Truth is Everlasting, Lion's Den. I am Yahweh Sap. I camp out with Lion Den, Hawan Ben Joshua in Jacksonville, Florida. But first I have to give a prayer to the Father, to the Son, to the elders, to the Akim, and to the women and children around the world in Paleo-Hebrew language. Ka Halayim La, Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai. Bahashem Ha Rokah Kodash Mahama, in the name of Yahweh Shai, in spirit and holy and in truth. Double honors to the 144,000 chosen elect. Double honors to the apostles of GMS. Double honors to the apostle of Lions Den Camp. Salutation to the Akim on the four corners of the earth, and to the women and children. Shalom. Okay, well this came out a day ago. And it's interesting, you know, what they're going to talk about. The Russia exposed U.S. plot to dump 37 trillion debt with crypto reset. Everybody's watching, you know, each other, what they're going to be doing to remove the, how the accountants called it, the bookies. The two books, you know, one book that they show to the IRS, the second book that they hide. But anyway, the title of this lesson, Who Brings Wicked Devices to Pass? Because that's what all is about, right? Wicked devices, and they're going to just pass away. Anyway, let me play a little bit of it, and we're going to scripture. Here we go.
Blown the whistle on a U.S. devaluation scheme.
America is trying to change the rules in the gold and cryptocurrency markets. Remember how much debt they have, $35 trillion.
Dropping a global bombshell this week, accusing the U.S. of plotting to erase its $37 trillion debt burden by taking said debt, shoving it into crypto, devaluing it, and then resetting the system with a gold revaluation. A series of moves that wouldn't just impact those using cryptocurrency, but would impact the entire dollar system, meaning your savings, your retirement, your paycheck. But the scariest part is that the plan is already in motion. In case you missed it, Anton Kobiakov, a senior advisor to Russian President Vladimir Putin, made a bold claim this week at the Eastern Economic Forum, stating that the United States is preparing to reset the system, using crypto and gold to erase its massive debt burden.
Driving everyone where? Into the cryptocurrency cloud. Right now they have a $35 trillion currency debt. They move it into crypto, into the cloud, devalue it, and start from scratch.
But here's where it gets interesting. Just a few months ago, President Trump signed into law the Genius Act, legislation that creates regulatory framework for stablecoins. Stablecoins being a type of cryptocurrency that maintain a stable value by being pegged to a real-world asset, such as the dollar. But not all is as it appears. On the surface, it was hailed as innovative, and the U.S. adopting a new digital world that will keep us competitive. But if you look a little bit closer, there are many who say this is the foundation and legal framework for the United States to use these stablecoins as a lifeline for our debt. None of this even takes into consideration the fact that these stablecoins could also be a Trojan horse for financial control over the American people, taking away our freedom and privacy. But that is a separate video that I've already...
Okay, let me just stop it there. We're getting the point that, bottom line, the invisible money is coming, all right? No one can stop that, no matter how much they try, okay? Because it is being controlled by the hand of Yahweh, Shin Yahweh Shai. Just like in the 1929, 1930, right? When they got into the Federal Reserve note, right? They did a reset there also, okay? So now that they've been using it for so many years, and around the world caught on how they were being used and conned, now they're aware around the world that they're going to be doing the same thing with this, right? But like she said, this is a Trojan horse, okay? But I want to go to Psalm chapter 37, verse 7. Rest in Yahweh Shai and wait patiently for him. Fret not thyself because of him who prospers in his ways, because of the man who brings wicked devices to pass, right? They're going to be using this at first to get all of us, we all got to pay bills, right? We all got to work. And they're aware of that, okay? But believe me, the Edomites know that it's not going to work, right? They have another agenda behind this as time goes on. Lamentation 3:26. Give me a minute. They have other plans. And we know, we use the scripture in the name of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai to guide us and show us their plan. Lamentation chapter 3 verse 26. It is good that a man should both hope and quietly wait for salvation of Yahweh Shai. Okay? Verse 27, it is good for a man that he bears the yoke in his youth, right? Labor, work. But it's not only working for the system, bear the yoke of also doing the work of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, right? If you are called, or if you repented, right? Because you found the truth, right? It has called you, it has given you understanding through the elders and the prophets and the servants and the Achims, then do the work, right? Verse 28, he sits alone and keeps silence because he has bore it upon him, right? I guess the way I can express that, we are being reborn, right? Through Yahweh Shai, and what we are doing the work, building spiritual credit, and realizing that this body, right, this sinful body, this wicked body, is only for a moment. It gets old, and it goes to sleep, right? This body, you cannot live for eternity, you see. And the Edomites know this, they understand this. They are introducing so many marvelous, wonderful things about how they can, prolong people's lives, right? And make people that are paralyzed walk again, people that are blind see again, right? Where is I? Give me a minute. Oh, I want to go now to Jeremiah. Jeremiah chapter 15, verse 17. I sat not in the assembly of the mockers, of scoffers, nor rejoiced. I sat alone because of thy hand, for thou hast filled me with indignation. Right? Annoying anger, right? We are angry, but we don't get violent. Okay? We don't like this wicked kingdom. We hate it. All right? What has that done to us? What has done to our family, to our wives who are married, to our ex-wives and children, right? To our people. Okay? But we sit alone, meaning the time will come, right? Because this catches invisible money system program that we are going to be using, it's only going to be working for a short period of time, because anyone, even AI itself, right, can hack it. And then now that they got everything in the internet, that they can come out and say, listen, it's not working, you're having problems paying bills or receiving money, right, or spending it on time. Because remember, they're coming out with new rules on what money is, when to use it, where to use it, and if you don't use it, it expires. Can you imagine? Money expires. That tells you that it's fake, artificial money, right? artificial intelligence, make-believe, la-la land, you see? But anyway, with this system that they're bringing in worldwide, once it's not working, because they're going to make sure it does not work as time goes on, rest assured they're going to mandate, right, that everyone has to take something inside their body. That is the solution. That's really their plan. Because keep in mind, you so-called Negros, Latinos, and speckled birds, they need to turn everyone, as many that they can, into cyborgs. So when Yahushua comes back in those so-called UFOs, right, the Bible calls them chariots or clouds, and he comes back with a host of angels, these rich, filthy, wealthy Edomites, they're not going to go out there and fight or have their children fight. They're going to go under the ground, right, where they have cities and bunkers, and sit back and have the people that have been turned into cyborgs go out and fight the Creator, the King of Kings and Lord of Lords, right? So this is how they're thinking. This is what they are planning. Psalm chapter 26. Give me a minute. Psalm. I said 26. Verse. I'll start with verse 4. I have not sat with vain person, neither will I go in with dissemblers, someone who conceals their true feelings, intention, or opinion by presenting a false appearances or pretending to have different ones. You see? So by doing the work in the name of Yahweh Shin Yahweh Shai, right, so he can have mercy on us, he's the one that's going to give us the strength not to bow down to take what they want to put inside of us. You see? Now, of course, some of us will be beheaded for refusing not to take it, but others, I'm not going to experience that. It all depends on Yahweh Shin Yahweh Shai, who he decides that will have to, walk that extra mile, okay? But, really, you got to remember, Edomites are hypocrites, okay? They are hidden matters is what they have. If I pronounce that right, it's not Slovakia. That's what they have behind, They want to enslave everyone into a higher level, okay? But they want your consent in order for them to put that in there. Verse 5, I have hated the congregations of evildoers, and will not sit with the wicked, Now, of course, that means that you will not take what they want to put inside of you, right? Because once you do that, remember, you're being a scoffer just like them. And it's blaspheming against the Most High. And then, of course, he already made it clear, don't do that, because then, for sure, you will get burned with fire, okay, from those missiles, right, that Russia and China and other countries have pointing into America. Verse 3, what happened here? For thy loving kindnesses is before my eyes. I have walked in thy truth. And that's what the Edomites have to remove from all of us. The truth, right? So they're going to make things so miserable, right? That 2/3 of our people, they're going to say, especially those that are involved in lawsuits that didn't get their money at this time, right? The Edomites are going to tell them, listen, it shows here in the record that you got a lawsuit coming, a lot of money. I mean, you'll be living good. You don't have to work no more. You can do whatever you want, whenever you want. You see? You can't trust them at all. Better to be with Yahweh Shai, right, than to humble yourself and take something in your body like that. I want to go to Psalm chapter 1, verse 1. Blessed is the man that walks not in the counsels of the ungodly, nor stands in the way of sinners, nor sits in the seat of scoffers, right? Slakia. So, the Edomites are so anxious, so excited of all this madness that they are creating around the world, right? That they're looking forward to implementing, right? Because there will come a time when they will mandate that if you don't put this in your body, you will not be able to buy, sell, work, live, or eat. You see? Especially if you have young children. That's the kind we need Yahweh Shai. We need a mighty hand, right, to help us in these crazy times. Because it's going to get worse. I want to go to Psalm chapter 31, verse 6. Here we go. I have hated them that regard lying, vanities, but I trust in Yahweh Shai. You see? So, right now we read it, we go on the highways and byways, right? We do the lessons to feed the flock, right? To edify. But if you don't have faith, okay, in what you are reading, what you're saying in the name, boy, you better pray and hope that he is with you then, right? But the beautiful thing about that, when you're doing the work of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, you go through trials in life, okay? And these trials that you go through is preparing you. It's showing you how real that name, how powerful that name, and how real Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai are watching and guiding you, right? So you really, it's like when you exercise for an event, for a sport, right? You practice first and you keep practicing to the point where now you start seeing the results, right? You start recognizing how to move in that sport that you're playing. Well, the same thing, you grow more into the spirit in the name of Yahweh Shai, and that's what you want to be recognizing in hard times, to be guided and to have the strength, have faith, right? If it makes sense. Verse 7, I will be glad and rejoice in thy mercy. Yeah, because the Edomites don't give mercy. They pretend, which is different, okay? For thou hast considered my trouble. Thou hast known my soul in adversities. Yeah. I share one with you. I remember one time when I was going from Missouri to upstate New York. So I stopped. Where did the train stop? The Amtrak went to Chicago. But it was late at night and it was snowy and cold. And I had to wait I think it was 2 or 3 hours for the next train that I got to take. And I got no money to go rent a room, right? So I see people in the train station, they're all sleeping there, So I sit back, close my eyes a little bit, and lo and behold, a couple of officers come in screaming and kicking people around. Wake up, this ain't a hotel, get the hell out of here. They kick, I guess, one of the wrong guys that was sleeping on the floor, and the wrong guy said the wrong word, and the cop grabbed him by the neck. And when I saw that, I said, well, I didn't know the name. At that time, I didn't know about what I know now about Yahweh Shai. I just said, God, I'm in this situation. I got to get to this destination. what do? Believe it or not, and kid you not, he got me to walk right up to that same car that was holding the guy on the neck. And I said, excuse me. And I told my situation. And I said, I got no money. And if I go out there in the streets in the cold, something can happen to me, or, I might have to look for, looking for a place to get warm. I end up getting in trouble then. Can you help me? Man, he looked at me, he said, sir, go into that room right there, and you'll be all right. Man, it was a lazy chair with a TV. I couldn't believe it. So, Yahweh Shai does work wonders, right? Especially when you know the name, is what I want to say. Verse 7, no, I read that. Surah, verse 6, I read verse 7. Now I want to go to Song 139. That's what I was looking at. Chapter 139, verse 21. Slovakia. Do not I hate them, O Yahweh Shai, that hate thee? And am not I grieved with those that rise up against thee? Yeah. But it doesn't mean that we're going to, get together like a militant army and go and attack the Edomites and do violent, wicked, evil stuff to them. No. We are only sent out with the Bible to read the judgment to the wicked, to the heathens, and to 2/3 of our people. And to let them know, the so-called Negros, Latinos, and speckled birds, to repent because the time is at hand. Okay? Verse 22, I hate them with perfect hatred. I count them my enemies. Yeah, we are their enemies. They hate us. Okay? No matter what, they hate us. And they hate our children. And our wives or our ex-wives. Okay? Verse 23, search me, O Yahweh Shai, and know my heart, know my mind. Try me and know my thoughts. Of course he's going to know our thoughts. He created us. But when you read this, say, try me, it's not really him trying us. It's him showing us that he is with us. Right? Letting us know, hey, I'm with you. So when you walk, in these obstacles, right, these trouble, chaotic obstacles, call in my name, and I will help you. You see? Verse 24, and see if there be any wicked way in me, and lead me in the way everlasting. See? And that's the beauty. So I'll leave it with Psalm chapter 37, verse 27. Let me see if it's 27. Give me a minute. I'll leave it with 20. Yeah, 27. Depart from evil, do good, and dwell forevermore. In other words, after this cashless society kicks in, and it will, once it goes wrong, because it's going to be hacked like crazy on purpose, right? By the wicked, right? And by criminals, right? Geeks that are going to try it out anyway, temptation. Rest assured that they will mandate, right? The charagma, the C-hip, right? The potato chip they want to put inside. Don't take it, don't do it, no matter what. I hope that this was edifying. And with that, I'll say, Shalom.